A whole school approach to differentiated teaching and learning deliberately prepares for and responds to the diverse needs of all students, including behaviours that maximise engagement. Positive behaviour support is a differentiated whole school approach for establishing the social culture and individual behaviour supports needed for schools to be effective learning environments for all students. In Queensland, this approach is known as Positive Behaviour for Learning, PBL. Research demonstrates that when positive behaviour support is implemented with fidelity, student engagement and learning are improved and respectful relationships are fostered. Schools value the involvement of parents and the wider community in creating an environment where all students feel safe, supported and included. PBL is a whole school framework for establishing and maintaining safe and supportive learning environments. PBL has a strong evidence base and is successfully implemented by many Queensland state schools. PBL takes an instructional approach to behaviour, recognising that schools play an important role in teaching students the behaviours they need for success at school and beyond. There is a proven relationship between effective classroom management, academic achievement and teacher and student well-being, and PBL is a framework that can help establish the conditions necessary to gain these outcomes. The PBL framework supports schools to improve social, emotional, behavioural and academic outcomes for all students. Schools can use it to analyse and improve behaviour and learning outcomes, select evidence-based practices for student support and intervention, provide support to staff members in maintaining consistent and proactive school-wide and classroom systems and practices. Classroom management consists of all the things that teachers do to create a safe and supportive learning environment where all students can learn to their full potential. Students learn best in well-ordered environments with clear expectations in place, where all students feel valued. Positive, respectful relationships are at the centre of a proactive approach to classroom management. Effective classroom management consists of 8 components shown to increase student engagement with learning and reduce the risk of problem behaviour. Classroom organisation, differentiated teaching and learning, behavioural expectations, explicit teaching of social skills, positive reinforcement, active engagement, active supervision, consistent and fair consequences. Each of these components can be broken down further into specific practices which teachers can use to build a positive classroom environment and maximise instruction time. PBL provides a continuum of support for all students through 3 tiers of intervention. Importantly, the tiers do not represent students. They represent levels and intensity of intervention. This model is consistent with the whole school approach to differentiated teaching and learning, which details the requirements in the P-12 curriculum, assessment and reporting framework. Tier 1, differentiated and explicit teaching for all students or school-wide interventions, are the critical foundation for PBL. Interventions are at the whole school level and are provided to all students across academic, emotional and behaviour dimensions of learning. The focus of Tier 1 intervention is on all students and staff across all settings, whole school, classroom and non-classroom settings. Tier 2, or focused interventions, support approximately 15% of students in a typical school who are not responding to Tier 1 and who have moderate ongoing behaviours of concern, social, behavioural and academic. Support is provided through additional Tier 2 or targeted level interventions. The focus of Tier 2 is to reduce the number of existing students requiring additional support. Tier 3 or intensive interventions support approximately 5% of students who have not responded to Tier 1 and Tier 2 interventions. Students with the most intensive needs may require Tier 3 or intensive level of supports, involving highly individualised interventions. The focus of Tier 3 is to reduce the intensity and complexity of existing individual students' situations. It is important that students requiring Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions have received and will continue to receive the same level of Tier 1 support as other students. Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions are only effective when Tier 1 foundations are strong. If there are more than 15% of students receiving Tier 2 support in a school, it is important that more attention be paid to the universal approaches of Tier 1. Implementing PBL in a school is a team-driven process. The team is made up of an administrator, teachers, non-teaching staff and parent and/or community representatives. Students should also be involved at the secondary school level. School PBL leadership teams receive training in the process over a year and identify a team coach to assist with implementation. Further professional development and guidance are provided to PBL schools after the training year, based on implementation data and level of need. When implemented as intended, PBL has been shown to improve academic outcomes, reduce rates of problem behaviour across the school, raise the positive public profile of the school, increase consistency of practices, improve staff and student well-being, increase teaching time, and improve school climate. Effective implementation of PBL provides students with the support they need to actively engage in learning and be successful at school.